Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Line. I am Samuel.
And I'm Charleton.
Let us begin taking a deep dive into the arts of mime and choreography. This is our commencement.
Why are we doing this?
Charleton, please tell them about the song.
All right,
PU Commencement.
Yeah, this is
Part 7-ish.
PU. Anyway, so
This is actually Part 7.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably. Carry on.
So this is Commencement from Project Understory. This is, yes, it is Part 7 of Project Understory.
Unless the flood ends up being like 5 songs or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hypothetically. It's Part 7.
There's only one other song that would break the ordering right now.
Yeah.
Because thank you, Virginia team, for go watch the playlist. All the songs are out from when we did Virginia. We had 6 songs that we finished. 4 of them were brand new, never done before. So the playlist is of Project Understory, which you probably don't know is that. If you don't know what that is, it's the Bible and Mime. It's the whole opera. You know, there's 24 parts total right here. Mm-hmm. We have everything from Genesis, creation, through Jesus' resurrection, minus the flood narrative and Tower of Babel. Basically, like Genesis, like 4 through 11. Like that's everything else is there.
The decline of humanity, minus the decline of humanity, we have the entire Bible from creation to resurrection, which is pretty awesome.
It's pretty hype.
Yeah.
And we're hopefully, shout out to you, Pennsylvania, coming to you soon to teach you those last 4 songs after we choreograph them.
Yeah, I got some ideas.
We got lots of ideas, which are
but
nothing.
You know, you will get there. So anyways, Commencement is the first of 3 songs of what I like to call the Moses trilogy. The first...
Shout out Moses.
Yeah. He was an important dude, I guess, probably.
He shows up at the project like once or twice later.
Yeah, he shows up in other...
I didn't do Amount of Transfiguration in Christ. That was a cut scene in the DLC.
It'll be in the DLC. And so Commencement, Called, and Compact are the Moses trilogy. Commencement is Moses' birth and like his early childhood until his exile, where he's, sent into Midian. And then
his exile. Carry on.
Yeah. Anyways. And second is Called, which is the Exodus, basically from, Moses's calling, like it's called, until the end of the Exodus and the Israelites being taken into the wilderness to be free of Egypt.
Red Sea stuff.
Red Sea stuff. And then Compact is Moses' older age, like it's the establishment of the law, it's the establishment of...
the book of Leviticus.
Yeah, it's Leviticus, which is kind of like ironic, I feel like, that it's in the project, though. We got to go.
Hey, no. Charleton didn't know what I'm about to say. I was realizing what's really cool with these 3 songs is they actually mimic the beginning parts of Jesus's ministry. So we have him going to Egypt, right? Mm-hmm. And then coming back to Egypt, right? The called part. There's actually going to be some staging symmetries between how Moses leaves and comes back to how the people of Israel leave to Babylon and come back to Jerusalem, and then Jesus goes to Egypt. You're going to actually see some staging symmetries going on there.
Like, what do you know? Even sort of on accident, it has a lot of the...
We might have to edit some exact things.
Reflective aspects,
Part of why we're doing this podcast is so we can talk through these things, because this whole project's going to be very interconnected with all of these things. So a lot of things got choreographed. These got choreographed, 3 years ago?
More than that.
I don't know.
It's been a while. Like, looking at Crown was like 8 years ago or something. So long ago. And... I was a different man back then.
You were a different man back then.
They say that all of your cells regenerate every 7 years. So I was physically 100% a different man at that point.
This was only 2021.
2021? Really?
Yep. Yeah, not that long ago.
It's not that long ago. Huh.
Also,
I feel like it was a little bit longer.
Those are out of order. Contingency. Anyway.
That's probably an older version of the numbering.
Yeah, it is an older version of the numbering.
Whatever. We'll figure that out later. So anyways, with this song is also Metal Crusher, which is from, of course, Undertale, these classic Project Understory thing, Toby Fox song. And this, like the original version of the song, is like really chaotic and crazy. But this version of it, I feel like, is a lot more mellow.
They work towards its end.
It fits better as an orchestral theme than it does its own theme for the purposes of Project Understory. So I just appreciate that. I'm patting myself on the back for a good selection of music. I'm just kidding. So yeah.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Oh yeah, this is also one of the songs that Steve Jenkins has the voiceover
In the
for.
time of
voice.
Israel's slavery in Egypt,
great
Pharaoh
voice.
announced an edict that every Hebrew boy that was born
So I will
would be
say,
thrown.
this is one of the songs that will have to connect with the previous one some way. Because what's before this song? This was the Abraham.
It should be the
Joseph.
Joseph song. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of tying that connecting
Meanwhile,
to
a Hebrew
But
family
what's
gave
cool about
birth
this
to a
is
son,
the
and
killing,
hid it.
of the children.
Yep.
This will be mimicked with later. We'll show clips of it later, not right now. Of
They could not hide him
coming.
for long. So his
Coming?
sister
No,
Miriam
celebration.
took him
Celebration.
away
When
to
Herod
place
kills a
him
bunch of
in
babies.
God's hands on
And then
the
you're going to
river.
see Mary and Joseph go away to Egypt this way.
Yep. Because this is Joseph here, and you'll see Avery over there is Mary, who's kind of like carrying baby Moses
Right?
to set him into the water.
Set him into the water and watching the water float.
The baby boy
We might
floated
stage it slightly
to Pharaoh's
differently,
daughter,
but we
and
didn't
she
know this
saw
ahead of
him
time
crying and felt
because
sorry
we go
for him.
to Pharaoh's house, so to Egypt or whatever.
Yep.
There's some symmetry there with Jesus' life.
Yep. And so Avery as Miriam, kind of talking with Pharaoh's daughter here.
Pharaoh's daughter took pity on the Hebrew child. She
There is a
named
little bit of
baby
dead
Moses
time as far
because she
as
drew
the
him out of
staging, but I
water.
think part of it's just people. Because
Yeah, it's
If
the
you had a
number
lot-
of people was
if
the
you had-
issue here.
right, this was to get it up in choreograph, totally understandable. If you had more people, you would have like fans in the back and people constructing.
Miriam
People, probably the
convinced
people of
Pharaoh's
Israel.
daughter to have his mother
That
nurse
part
him
you could
until he
probably
was old
cut
enough.
some of it, honestly, right now. But I would probably just first take Project Under Story, stage Pharaoh and his daughter higher up on the stage, and then come down to this point to do this part. But what's also cool is we have another growing up sequence, right? Moses is a baby, and then look at this, we got a growing up.
Moses grew old
And we can make this extra
given
cool
to
too,
Pharaoh's
with
daughter
the same way we did
and
in
her son.
the song Celebration.
Yep.
We'll show you lots of celebration clips later.
Yeah, there's a lot of reflection of Jesus later on in Moses. So. And like,
This is my
thank
child.
you.
Thank
there
you.
you
You can leave now.
go. Yep. And a lot of this, there was supposed to be more characterization in a lot of this stuff, but
No, it's
whatever.
fine. There is a lot of time and music in this song, and so that's where I feel like you could develop it more with more people, like
Yeah.
what you're doing, getting into a boat for the Nile River or something, since that'll be affected later. Yeah, or setting up the people of Israel working before
Moses
getting abused
saw
by
an
these people.
injustice and tried to save one of his own people.
Got him.
Man, look at that epic stage combat. One Punch Man right there.
One Punch Man, yeah. That's definitely how it went down, Moses. Moses as One Punch Man.
And he fled.
I think as is, there's just a lot of dead time. Is there a reason like why Pharaoh's daughter does that, or
Moses
is
ran
it
for
just
his
lack
life.
of people?
Lack of
And
people.
eventually
That was the main thing.
stopped in the land of Midian.
Land of Midian. I'd almost like stage that similar to the Exodus song.
Mhm.
Chastening. Oh, look at Moses saving the
Oh,
day.
so heroic, saving these ladies.
Again, more people.
After saving the daughters of Jethro,
The
Moses
staff?
The
awoke
staff,
in
it's
front of
on, it's
Pharaoh.
coming in.
He
So this was
taken
kind of
from
one of those
royalty
things
down
where
to a lowly shepherd.
I didn't know how to get
But his
Moses the
story
staff
is not over.
effectively, so I had Jethro give it to him
That makes sense.
because Jethro was kind of like the leader of the Midianites, and then he ended up passing a lot of his authority over to his son-in-law, who would
Makes
be
sense. Yep.
Moses.
If you didn't know through the project, the staff kind of represents the leadership role, and so that's kind of the beginning of that getting to him. You could also have God give it to him later at the burning bush, but I feel like Jethro's totally fine.
Yeah.
That dominion. Anyway, purpose and message.
Yep. So of course, Project Understory, kind of the first major purpose.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
the overarching purpose.
But yeah, like this is to establish Moses and like to show you the aspects of his story that are relevant to like the overarching story of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I,
It's a setup song. Like
yeah,
that's what
it's kind of it's an act. Like this song is Act 1.
right. You would not do the next two songs apart from this one. I feel like while most of the songs are their own standalone song where you could do them theoretically for a purpose, this one, unless your like Bible lesson is just on the birth of Moses, like for VBS or something, it doesn't stand on its own.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have the trilogy, which is fine.
I agree.
But as far as how we rate this later, this one's going to get a lower score just because if it has to stand on its own.
Yeah. Which,
Plus,
of course, that's how we have to judge
number of
things.
people is a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
There would be a lot more epicness or purpose to it, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But its purpose, it introduces the story of Moses.
Yeah.
That's its lane.
That's what it does, and I think it does okay with that.
How does it do that? Well,
I don't know. That doesn't do it.
this
well.
man
You tell me.
choreographed the song, and he didn't even know how it did.
I don't know anything about this song. I didn't choreograph this. The Holy Spirit choreographed. So anyway,
I mean, yeah.
the Holy Spirit gave me the song. Maybe you should give it back. No, I'm just kidding.
True.
No, but like what I think is really good about this song is it like touches on a lot of the nuances of things about his story that are important.
Yeah.
Especially things that are reflective of Jesus later, but also things that like show we'll say, effects of the sin of humanity.
Yeah.
And the cruelty that people do, like with the killing of the babies in order
Mhm.
to stay in power and stuff like that, even though it's being inflicted upon God's people. And like that's, it's an almost ironic turn of things where it's
Yeah.
like these are God's people being directly persecuted for the reason of existing,
Yeah.
and that's cruelty,
Yep. No, I think it highlights the parts of the story that will be picked up on later really well. And that's not a backhanded, diss on this song.
Light jump scare. This is suddenly the lighting is different. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
it's starting to get darker here, so I had to turn on some lights. But anyway, as far as what it does well, it highlights the parts of Moses' story that are going to be picked up on later, which makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Both in all right, put the side by side of comparisons here, Charleton. These are the parts it does well. So over here is celebration. Over here is the song Commencement. So we have the staging of killing of the babies over here, and we have killing of the babies over here. I'll give you however much time you need. If you need to pause like my voice and like play the video or whatever, you get that mirror image. Okay, cool. You also get Mary and Joseph going to Egypt at that time, similar to how Miriam goes over, or Jochebed, right?
Well, it's
Moses' mother.
It's Moses' mother, Jochebed, is over on the side, and then Miriam is the one who takes to the river.
Right. So that parallel imagery of Jesus / Moses going towards the enemies, if you would, Egypt / whatever. There's some logical symmetry there.
Yeah.
You also have when Moses kills the Egyptian slave driver or whatever, and then flees. You'll get some similar pictures with how Jesus comes back from Egypt. So there's some cool staging that'll happen there. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
We thought about this.
Yeah. Thought about it at least for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Charleton choreographed this, and then we thought about it for celebration. So maybe this is actually talking about that song more. But it goes to show this is a setup in a lot of ways, both for the story of Moses and how Jesus is the fulfillment of the new Moses, you could say.
Yeah.
So I feel like he did a good job highlighting the parts of the story that we'd want to talk about.
Yeah, I think so.
Things you might improve. There's just a lot of dead time.
Yeah, I feel like the dead time is the biggest issue.
It's funny. Some of the songs that we've choreographed, there was too much jam-packed in there.
Mhm.
And the songs there's like, no, you can kill more time.
Yeah. No, but like this is supposed to have a lot more going on, but we just didn't have the number of people. Like this is one of those songs that if we had like 20 people, it would feel more fleshed
Tell me
out.
about it.
Because like I would have,
My resurrection song had like 16 to 18 people, and I'm like, I need more. I need more.
Yeah, and so like with, even just the early on set piece of the babies getting killed in the Hebrew village, like I have one Egyptian guard going in and killing the children there. I could totally have like 8 different houses with multiple people.
Oh, yeah.
And
we're
then
going to have
multiple
like, lots
guards
of
going
families
around.
that go
Yeah.
through this thing. I was thinking, especially for Compact, when they start developing, the families of Israel, that we try to keep those same actors in those roles so that when we do it later, when they come back from exile, you actually have some established families.
Mhm.
I think it'd be cool from a
That'd be kinda
storytelling perspective.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. And then another way to kill time is like when you have the interaction between Moses and Pharaoh's daughter,
Mhm.
like there's supposed to be more interaction of like with the family, the facility, like the guards.
the palace, the
other
fans, all
palace,
of
yeah.
the things setting the stage. and
Yeah,
scene.
there's just supposed to be a lot more going on to kind of establish the
more
scene
grandiose.
and supposed to be breathing a lot more. Now, what's supposed to happen that the team didn't do was everything is supposed to be a bit more slower paced. So like people will cross the stage super fast.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
need to do that. You can like take a moment to cross the stage,
There's
things like that.
It's almost like the first time we've had, not the first, Abraham technically had this more, but some travel narrative, quote unquote, where you use the big part of the stage to travel to another scene, and that needs to take some breathing room.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest critique, is just making sure those things get filled in.
Yeah.
More actors will do most of those things.
Yeah, right.
Theologically, things you might say about it. It's a great biblical theology of
Yeah,
Exodus 1 and 2.
It tells a good narrative. Like we're Bible and mime is what our purpose is, and here we are, Bible and mime of the story of Moses' early life. So
Yeah, that's pretty straight Bible. Like it talks about the story that was there while highlighting a few of its significances. So clarity, difficulty, and style. Let us begin. I don't know why this makes me think commencement. Like we're about to start
like
like this
opening up the book to commence the
ceremony of some form.
The ceremony.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what comes to my mind.
Which is also funny because once again, this is part 7, so this isn't even the commencement.
Let us commence now that we are 7 parts in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to get through that whole creation, the descension of man, and destroying the world like by flood and confusing. There's a whole lot that happened before here.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
This is like Abraham and Moses are the first 2 main characters where you're like, oh, maybe there's no. You know, you kind of have this like,
they got like this is Abraham and Moses is kind of where you get like the ups and downs, where it's like you're kind of getting there a little bit.
Because once we get done with compact, the next one is curator, right? Compact is where it leaves off with Joseph.
With Joshua.
Joshua, thank you.
Yep. And then it gets into curator. Yep.
So we've had some ups and downs with the people of Israel, and then it's like judges.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much like
the cycles of apostasy is like the rest of what would just happen faster.
Yeah. So like basically how this goes, and what do you know how the Bible goes, is like you get the creation is like the world at its peak, and then sin happens, and then we get like some of the people of Israel getting called, and
Moses and Joshua.
And then the judges,
Gideon, and
you get like the early judges, the mid judges, the late judges.
Trash judge.
Yeah, and then finally you get into the kings, where a little bit.
There's a little bit of David. Oh, not David. Yeah. Solomon. No, not Solomon.
And then most of them did evil in the sight of the Lord, and so forth.
Rip kings, and then we have to send them to exile. But hey, that's the Old Testament. Like 10 cents. Why do we have to do this whole project? We just gave them the whole Old Testament.
There's the whole Old Testament. If anybody asks, what's the Old Testament about? You go,
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's basically how that went.
Basically.
Clarity, difficulty, style. Now that we can actually... That was not beginning. Now let us commence this clarity. It's clear because it's narration. I think it's unclear because there's not enough people. So rating it feels arbitrary at this point just because it almost feels not complete. This is like the beta.
Yeah, this is the beta version.
So, I don't know. I'm going to give it like a 6. It's clear. Needs more people.
Yeah, I was going to give it like a 7. We need the more people to fill out the situations, fill out the story, but the narrative, of course, drives it a little bit, makes it.
Whenever we get around to redoing some of them, since we've already started doing that and filling out the people that we need, we might even do like some of these ones would have fewer people before we do the grand project, just so we have the idea. Mm-hmm. We'll re-rank some of these things and talk about them again.
Yeah, that'll be fair.
Difficulty?
Future us.
Difficulty?
Difficulty, this is not a hard song.
You follow the lyrics. There's gaps.
Yeah, I feel like the difficulty comes in the characterization. Yeah. Once again, the reason that there are time gaps is that there's supposed to be a lot more characterization, a lot more colorization going on.
Yeah.
And that I feel like is a majority of this song, which is meant to be more of like a take a breath after all the chaos that's happened in some of the earlier songs.
Yeah, there's some good pacing with the whole project. And
yeah, so that was kind of part of its
breathing
purpose.
Point.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So I wouldn't say it's terribly difficult in the sense of following the lyrics, just characterizing it. I was going to give it like a 5. Just
I wasn't even going to give it that. I was going to give it like a 4.
All right. And then style. It doesn't have a lot of style. This is probably, of the ones you've choreographed, this one and the next one are probably the lower on style. Understandably, the next one was choreographed during Mime Camp, but we'll talk about that. This one, I felt like more people will give it more style, but there wasn't anything that was like, whoosh. So I'm going to give it like a 3.
No, I feel like the main story or style aspects that I'd give it is some of the nuance to like how the story goes, especially with like the killing of the babies. Mm-hmm. You know how many songs do that?
2 now.
2. And they're both in Project Understory. So
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
yeah, let's go. Killing babies. Yeah.
Oh.
Cut that out. Get the
Yeah. Okay, but hear me out. When we do the martyrdom, is it too weird of a stretch if we do the martyrdom in a similar way during the church scene?
We make the martyrs babies?
No.
No.
Can we baptize them first then?
So anyways, but yeah, with style, I can't give it a whole lot of points because I feel like a lot of it is in characterization, a lot of it is in subtle nuances with the song.
Nothing that breaks the bound except for the fact that what's breaking the bound is Project Understory, where there's narration. But I'm comparing it with other PU songs.
Yeah, and so I have to give it like a 4. That's kind of where I'm leaning.
It's fine, but stay tuned next week. We'll hop into next one, which is Called. So epic.
Yeah.
And if you're called to comment down below.
Called gang in the comments below.
Like the lights came on or something. I don't know. Don't mind our mild heresy. Comment down below. We didn't even tell them to hit the like subscribe the last episode. What are we doing?
Wow. I should like subscribe, I guess.
Yeah. Hit the like button. Help the YouTube algorithm. Tell us if you have any comments of this song, because if you have thoughts about Moses that are hidden, I've been waiting to tell you about my opinion on Moses. Now's your chance.
Like Moses, like, man, I can't believe that they don't just call him Mo in the Bible. Hot take.
Hot take. I'm Samuel.
And I'm Charleton.
Mo.
Breaking the line. What?